Hello, fellow old schoolers. Long time no seen. Now, it has been far too long since we have had any new games on this channel. What with the lockdown and everything, it's been difficult to get some games in. And I don't usually play online that much myself, and I don't really know how to record it, so there we are. But I got this one sent to me over email by Thomas Ribbit. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. But who am I kidding? Of course I'm not. But I hope you'll forgive me. It could be Thomas Ribbit or something. I think those guys actually invented this format. It is a 7-point singleton, and in essence, every card is restricted here. But we have the same card pool as we usually have in old school Magic 93, 94. And then we have 7 points. Each player has 7 points that they can allocate between specific cards that are priced according to their power level. So you can't have all the best cards in your deck. These are the rules here. We see the most expensive cards are Library of Alexandria, Ancestral Recall, and Sol Ring for 4 points. For 3 points, well, we have the second row here. The Moxen, the Demonic Teuton, Mind Twist, and the Lotus. For 2 points, you can buy one of the cards from the row starting with the Armageddon. And then the final cards here are for 1 point. And the listing of these cards gets tweaked and updated from time to time. So these guys might be playing with a slightly different rule set than what I have access to here, as this game is a quarterfinals from an online tournament in the 7-point singleton back in 2020. Let's go over the decks real quick here. I'll put down a timestamp below for when the game starts, and you can just skip to that particular timestamp if deck techs are not your thing. For the rest of us, let's go over them quick here. So meet our first contestant. In a blue, white and black enchantment focused deck here that I've just dubbed Enchantment's Extravaganza. I have no idea what the name of the deck really is. At the extreme left here, we see the cards that he's actually paid his points for. We had a Mace of Ith and a Caracas for 1 point each, and a land tax he's paid 2 points for. Then we have the Abyss and a Moat for 1 point each, and a Balance. And I think that's 7 points in total. Then we have some other special lands like deserts and a heck of a lot of enchantments and artifacts like Weakness, Animate Dead, stuff like that. I think it makes sense in this format, right? Because there aren't that much enchantment or artifact removal, as everything is restricted. So you can only have a single disenchant in your deck, or perhaps a single tranquility, and that's about it. Then you can't remove all the enchantments. So I reckon the Abyss and the Moat must be pretty damn brutal here, especially in a deck like this. It doesn't seem to have any creatures. Besides the factory and a single Triskelion that you can reuse with reconstruction. There's a Taunus Coffin in there as well that synergizes well with Triskelion. Now, if I go over every single card here, we'll be here all day. So I'll just show them here, and then we can talk a bit about them if some of these cards gets more pronounced in this game. As everything is restricted, we have quite the variety here, and also a bunch of cards that don't usually see play. So yeah, a creatureless enchantment and artifact heavy deck that utilizes, it seems to utilizes Abyss and Moat and Nova Pentacle and stuff like that to shut the other guy's creatures off. I don't know what his win con is, perhaps some enchantments that ping the other guy, something like that. Let's check the opponent here. This is the blue and white Fat Beaters on Exotic Lands, I've called it. He spent most of his points on a Library of Alexandria. It costs him 4 points here. He is very, very good. He has a Mace of Ith and a Recall and a Balance to round out his points. And then he has access to cards like Diamond Valley and Desert, and he uses the Candelabra of Taunus to reuse those lands. And I suppose that makes sense as well, because there aren't that much land destruction in a format like this, as that's restricted as well. At the top here we see some of his more useful artifacts, like we have the Triskelion and the Tetravis and an Icy Manipulator. There's also a Serpent Generator that could be very good in a format like this, because there is a lot of time. I haven't played this format myself, but my hunch is that it'll be a lot slower than the usual old school format is, because all the removal is restricted. So we'll likely see some very elaborate and huge board states as the game progresses, because there are so many cards that can't easily be removed. But we'll see if that holds true. Let's get ready for the game. It is a best of one here, this tournament, because games take a while, I've heard. More akin to a chess match, perhaps. It's Enchantment Extravaganza versus Fat Beaters on Exotic Lands. And the enchantment deck is on the left here, on those yellow sleeves. Starting off with a factory. That's restricted as well, so it's pretty nice. And we have a responding factory here, so... Okay, they both drew into their only factory, punching over here quickly for 2 points of damage with the factory. Now the other factory will be online now, and will be able to block and then pump itself the usual way, just to keep the other factory back if Exotic Lands chooses to. He could counterattack as well. I wonder, it depends on whether he thinks he has to finish the game early. Okay, he does so here. So I bet Exotic Lands must be thinking that he wants to win fast, but okay, counterattack right back. So neither guy wants to keep back and block. They just want to attack all out. And opening themselves up for the counterattack, and obviously recognizing that that's worth it for them. Okay, this time Exotic Lands doesn't choose to attack, he just keeps back here. I think he could have attacked because he has the City of Brass, so it's pretty dangerous to attack into it with a factory. It could be lightning bolts, swords and plowshares, stuff like that. Crumble. Doesn't know what he's against here, but okay. Oof, there's an abyss coming out of the enchantment Extravaganza. That is pretty hefty at this point, so early in the game. It will destroy or bury a creature each upkeep. And we know the Fat Beaters on Exotic Land, he relies on those big creatures to punch in. He also has an archaeologist to get his factories back. He does have a disenchant in his deck, counterattacking here for 2 with the factory. Yeah, he does have Triskelions and Tetravers in his deck, and the Abyss won't touch artifact creatures, and it doesn't touch the factories either, obviously. He also has a single disenchant, so I bet he'll try to get that in to get rid of the Abyss. Okay, both players just exchanging blows here. Like a boxing match. No blocks, just punching each other. Yeah. So, Exotic Lands, he needs... Okay, that's a library from Exotic Lands. His prized possession here, having paid 4 points for that. But it's so difficult to remove. I mean, it's a big investment, but it's good. It's so good in this format because there aren't, as said, aren't that much removal against it, and the game is so slow that I reckon that you can usually just sit back with a full hand. Now I am saying it's slow, but these guys are actually taking a bunch of damage here, down to 12 points of life for Exotic Lands already. It's just those 2 factories getting down so early, and not a lot of removal against them, and both players being very motivated to attack each other at this point. So we saw the Library of Alexandria is online, actually, getting activated at the end step of Enchantment Extravaganza here. So now Exotic Lands will start to accumulate a lot of card advantage. He must be digging for a disenchant here, or perhaps just an artifact creature. Oh, discarding Mahamoti-Jin, yeah. It doesn't make sense to play it. Passing the turn to Enchantment Extravaganza, and he puts down a land tax here. Okay, so card advantage for both players at this point. The land tax player is behind in lane, so he can activate his land tax next turn if he chooses to, and I think he will. Just to get mana fixed and siphon cards out of his deck. Okay, that's a Nova Pentacle. It might... Here it is. It might not look like much, but in a deck without any creatures, it's brutal because you can redirect the damage done to you to a creature that opponent owns. So even if that factory gets in now, he can activate the Nova Pentacle and just make the factory slap itself out of the game. And you can do that to an artifact creature as well, as long as Enchantment Extravaganza doesn't play a creature of his own, or losing an Old Man of the Sea here, getting discarded by the Exotic Lands player. Okay, activation of the land tax on the side of Enchantment Extravaganza. Looks like he's discarding a card as well. Because, yeah, he has too many cards in hand because of that land tax. Discarding a Circular Protection red, recognizing that the other guy doesn't play red at this point. At the end step, the library just draws for the other guy again. So we can see why it's priced at 4 points here, that library. It is pretty damn good. It's always good, but it's very, very good in this format, I think. What's that? A Diamond Valley coming out of Exotic Lands here. No creatures to sacrifice it into, though. He can't sacrifice his factory, obviously, but why would he? Playing something. 4 mana, it seems. No. Okay, drawing with the library before that. He has 7 cards in hand. Getting up to 8. Keeping within library range that way. And then playing a Tornus Coffin here. That's an artifact that for 3 mana as a fast effect can remove a creature from the game. And that's just put under the coffin, and then he can put it out tapped whenever he wants to. It will reset counters on a Triskelion that way. It can also protect a creature from removal. And obviously can remove a creature the opponent controls from the game, from play as well. Okay, passing the turn, and land text gets activated by Enchantment Extravaganza here. Sitting comfortably behind his Abyss and Nova Pentacle. Now activating his factory because the other guy has tapped his factory out, putting him down to 10 life. He has a double blue mana up, the other guy, so I guess he must have a counterspell, right? Or mana drain. It's pretty damn certain because he actually sacrificed that damage by tapping his own factory instead of the island. Okay, yeah, Enchantment Extravaganza doesn't play anything, so discarding 3 basic lands here. So at the moment that land text is just siphoning lands out of his deck, just increasing the odds of him drawing a non-land card in his draw step. So we have hard card advantage from the Library of Alexandria versus soft card advantage from the land text here. And so far the board state is locked down by the Abyss. We need a disenchant or artifact creatures as countermeasures, or we need something from Enchantment Extravaganza to ping the other guy. Okay, counterattacking with the factory here. It's pretty damn risky. What's going on? Wait, I think he's activated this Nova Pentacle. Yeah, he's doing that. And the factory's damage is getting in and then getting redirected to a creature of opponent's choice. There's only one creature to choose. That's the factory. So the Nova Pentacle, as said, it will make the factory slap itself out of the game now. That's pretty damn huge because it's the only blocker at the moment from Exotic Lands. He can use his coffin, can't he? Yeah, okay. So as a fast effect to the Nova Pentacle, he just puts his own factory out of the game, saving it from itself, actually. Putting it in that stasis chamber. Oh man, that really took the Exotic Lands by surprise here, I think. That Nova Pentacle. It doesn't seem like it was part of his plan. He's tapped out now for no gain. So yeah, the Nova Pentacle, it will. It's the second line of defense from Enchantment Extravaganza here, besides the Abyss. Activating the land text again. Oh man, close call for that factory. If that had been removed by the Nova Pentacle, it seems like the road would be open for that single factory from Enchantment Extravaganza just to poke the other guy down. Enchantment Extravaganza seems to be a control deck. Just winning with a single factory or Triskelion. Now he can attack. Yeah, it's an open field. Putting the other guy down to 8 points of life here. Just holding his arms with the Abyss and the Nova Pentacle here. And slowly punching him with the factory. Now discarding another 3 lands and a blue card I can't see. It might be gaseous form. He's discarding here. Okay. So the factory gets out of the coffin, but it's tapped, as said, when it gets out of the coffin, so it's only online in the next turn. And then he uses the library just to dig for a card. Candelabra of Taunus coming out here. Okay, that's pretty damn good. Ooh, Ivory Tower, even better. With that library, online, and a Nova and a Candelabra of Taunus, he can draw two times with the library each turn. Now he's untapping the Library of Alexandria with his Candelabra of Taunus, and with that Ivory Tower, he'll regain more life than the opponent factories can do damage to him. So this might be an eternal game. And the land text is activated yet another time. There can't be much basic land left in that enchantment deck at this point. Okay, but next turn, I bet exotic lands will heal up for life. So that's an icy manipulator. So yeah, the pressure is actually on the enchantment extravaganza to close the game as fast as he can here. Before the other guy stabilizes. He has to do 8 points of damage. I think he's activating the factory at this point. Giving it a good think. No, he's tapping something. What's he tapping? Tapping the coffin. Okay. And then attacking with the factory. It's because now he can't activate the coffin to just put his factory out of the game. Otherwise, he could use the coffin to take as the enchantment deck's factory gets activated. He can just use the coffin and put that factory out of the game. So he needs to tap the coffin before the factory is activated. Very clever. Okay, the other guy actually responds with digging with the factory, with the library, and then sonic blasting the factory here. Boom, putting himself down to 5 points of life, but it's a bit of a turnaround here, right? The enchantment deck, he doesn't have any offensive capabilities anymore. Now that Ivory Tower gets online, healing him 3 life. I think he could have drawn in the upkeep, gaining even more. Okay, there's that blue island thingy. I can't remember the name. Something with T. Tolarium, perhaps? No. Just removes land walk and it's an island. There's another special land coming out of Fat Beaters and exotic lands. Not a lot of Fat Beaters coming out of him, sadly. They're getting discarded instead. But he attacks with the factory. Yeah, might as well. The IC is tapped and there are no opponent's factory to do anything. He's tapped out, he can't activate his Noble Pentacle. So, putting Enchantment Extravaganza down to 12 points of life here. Yeah, the tables are turning. Oh, Force Field coming down though. That'll slow down the turning of those tables a bit. The factory will only do a single point of damage now, even if it gets in. And a moat, okay. That's the complete lockdown now. No ground forces can attack anymore. No non-artifact creatures will live. Even if you get in, the Noble Pentacle will make the creature shoot itself. There's also an Icy Manipulator to tap it. And on top of all that, there's a Force Field. This is completely nuts. So, as predicted, we have a very, very complex board state at this point, but it's so hard to punch in when removal is restricted like this, it seems. I mean, what can they do? Pretty damn curious to see how this will end. I can't, at this moment, see how any of the players can get in, because that Ivory Tower, it'll net him 4 life each turn. Triskelion coming out. Okay, and that's a Taunus Coffin. So, okay, yeah. That'll work. You can use the Triskelion to shoot the other guy for 3 with the counters, then use the Tawnor's Coffin to get the Triskelion into the coffin. And when it gets out, it has the 3 counters again. You can just keep on doing that. Okay, shooting in for 3 here. Putting the other guy down to 9 points of life. So that circumvents all that protection from enchantment Extravaganza here. All those abyss, moats, force fields, Nova Pentacles, Ices, nothing works here. Okay, it chooses to tap something with the Icy at his end step. The guy draws a card with the library. As a response to that, wonder what he taps. I could discard something. Perhaps tapping his library. Perhaps he actually tapped his library. Yeah, just to make him discard a card, perhaps? I didn't quite see. Because then he can't use the library at his end step. Okay, counting up the lands. Land text player still has fewer lands in play, so he uses the land text for a single basic land. I think that's the final basic land. This game might come down to whoever decks the other guy. It's a hard call because both are drawing so many cards. But we also have that Triskelion. Each time I think the game is locked down completely and there can't be any way in. Exotic Land seems to find a way here. So now there's the Triskelion Coffin combination. Okay, passing the turn back, and at the end step, Fat Beaters on Exotic Lands puts the Triskelion into the coffin. So now the Triskelion sleeps, regenerates all its counters, gets put out from the coffin. Tapped, yeah, but it can still use the counters. And there's 3 life for Exotic Lands coming in from that ivory tower. Looking good so far for him. While on the other side of the table, yeah, he needs to find an answer for that Triskelion, and fast. Okay, shooting him for 1 point of damage each time. Ah, yeah. Okay, I didn't see that, but it's because of the Pendelhaven, perhaps. Otherwise, if he shoots him for 3, the Pendelhaven can just redirect all the damage into the Triskelion at once. It doesn't have to be unblocked creature damage. It can be any form of damage the Pendelhaven can activate. So he has to shoot it 1 counter each time. And if he shoots now, the other guy can use a Pendelhaven to just kill the Triskelion, so there's no reason to. He'll just wait. Oh. Now he taps something with the Icy. Haven't taken enough damage to go down to 6 points of life here. Okay, so he shoots him. He redirects the damage into the Pendelhaven. From the down onto Triskelion, I mean, and he has to use the coffin to save the Triskelion. So the last point of damage did not connect from the Triskelion because of the Nova Pentacle. But still, the Triskelion can give him 2 points of damage. Ooh, there's a Chaos Orb. Yeah, that is huge. He can Chaos Orb the coffin now. Or the Triskelion. No, he can't Chaos Orb the Triskelion yet. He can Chaos Orb the coffin. I think there's a counterspell coming out. This is a very, very important play. Drawing a card as a response to the Chaos Orb here. Ah, man, I think he's countering it. Yeah, here we go. Getting countered. Oh, but there's a reconstruction. You don't see that every day. It's 1 blue mana, and you can put an artifact from your graveyard into your hand. So just reconstructing the countered Chaos Orb. And then cheekily putting it down again. I'm back. Okay, this is pretty huge. It seems to be played. Yeah. And likely there are no disenchants in the hand of the other guy to counter that Chaos Orb, because he would have used it on the Abyss or something, or the Nova Pentacle at this point. Okay, he needs to hit here. Pretty damn crucial. Does it hit? Yeah, it connects and flips 180, killing off the coffin. I think the Triskelion gets out though with 3 counters of the destroyed coffin, but it is only the final shot here. Oh, and there is a balance here. So it will kill the Triskelion and also force the other guy to discard a bunch of cards in hand. So it'll put him out of library range and ivory tower for the time being. Very nicely played with that Chaos Orb play first. Getting rid of the coffin so that the Triskelion gets out into the play, and then using balance to get rid of the Triskelion. And also using a bunch of cards in the process, so you can balance the other guy's hand away. Oh, but it gets power synced though. Ah, it's so crucial as well, because then he can't use the Nova Pentacle. Because he's tapped out. Okay, as a fast effect, he's tapped something with the IC Manipulator. Tapping perhaps the City of Brass? Yeah, for a single point of damage. And the balance is countered. So now he's tapped out. The Triskelion can actually shoot all guns now, putting him down to 3 points of life before he untaps, and then he can't use his Nova Pentacle to bounce the damage back. Okay, so he can put him down to 3 points of life. He can't get in with the factory though, even though he has one, because of that moat. It'll keep him back. Okay, drawing a couple of times with the library, with the Candelabra of Taunus, getting to keep his hand. He would have had to discard down to 3 cards after that balance. So crucial power sync. Who will win in this? Oh, okay, he did some untap. That really surprises me that he does shoot him with the Triskelion. Perhaps I'm missing something here. Now I can bounce the damage back with the Pendelhaven, and he won't likely tap out again. I don't know why. Okay. Yeah, so it's a stare down contest again, with the Exotic Lands just healing up each turn with the Ivory Tower, drawing cards. I think there's some form of bubble. It has 2 counters. I think it can be used to do damage. Yeah, I just checked. It's a card from Fallen Empire, so I don't know it that well, as I don't usually get to play with that edition. But you can sacrifice it, pay a colorless mana, and it'll do 2 damage to any target. So yeah, had he used the Triskelion, as far as I can see, had he used the Triskelion, as I said, in the previous turn, and then used the bubble, no, he can't use the bubble yet, but in principle he can get the other guy down to 1 point of life. Having 5 points of damage out there. The problem is that Nova Pentacle actually. Getting a Meek Stone out is just overkill at this point. There are no creatures you can use that Meek Stone on that matters. I mean, the Triskelion, it can't attack anyway. So, but I suppose it's just redundant fail saves here. Layers upon layers of defense from Enchantment Extravaganza. The key thing here from Enchantment Extravaganza is the Abyss in the Moat and the Nova Pentacle. Those 3 cards are the most important defenders in this board state. This is really a chess match. It's a puzzle on how to break open the other guy. What does he do here? Okay, at his end step, the other guy just taps his City of Brass. He might as well, with the Icy Manipulator, just doing a single point of damage. Okay, the other guy discards a Plains and a Serra Angel. Yeah. All the creatures get discarded because of the Abyss. I wonder if that single disenchant is the final card of that deck. It could be. But I think if he draws a disenchant at this point, he will disenchant the Nova Pentacle and not the Abyss anymore. If he can get rid of that Nova Pentacle, he can shoot him for 5 immediately. Just need to do a single point of damage more, and that's game. Yeah, using the Candelabra and untapping it with the library and using the library again. Now, as far as I remember, he has a recall in the deck. He paid 1 point for that. And he also has a Sonic Blast in his graveyard. So if he can disenchant the Nova Pentacle, he can, at some point, sacrifice everything and shoot him, and then recall him back and shoot him again. Or recall the Sonic Blast. Getting on a Disrupting Scepter here. I mean, it's pretty nice in a board state like this. You can just take cards from the other guy's hand. I bet actually the Yamde Tomb and the Disrupting Scepter are pretty good cards in this format as well. Speaking of the devil, there's a Yamde Tomb played as well with the Disrupting Scepter, so card advantage coming up here. You can draw even more cards and discard the hand of the other guy. I'm discarding the Prodigal Sorcerer here. Yeah, he was doomed to that Abyss as well. So it is a shame that we don't see much of the creatures from exotic lands here. Going to 27. That's the Maze of Ith. Yeah, I think this game could be coming down to who will be decked first. If I were them, I would probably count what's left in both decks at this point. Just as a fail-safe, so that you don't use the land text too much or the book and library too much. But I don't know. There might be something. There's a jade. Okay, there's a jade statue. That won't be stopped by the Abyss, but there's still that moat, and there's still that Nova Pentacle and Icy Manipulator to get through. There's also a force field. At least the Meekstone won't affect it, because the statue will be a 3/6 creature, but at the end of the turn, once it's activated, it will become an artifact and not be a creature. Okay, so, it keeps on drawing with that book and with the library, so it's going for the kill here. Not worrying about the book. Okay, there's the Chaos Orb. This is pretty damn important here. Activating the Chaos. Oh, disenchanting it. Can we counter? Can he counter here? Nope. Luckily for the enchantment deck here, that he had that disenchant in hand. Good for him. Okay, at the end step, he taps the Triskelion with the Icy Manipulator. It's now under lockdown from that Meekstone because it is a 4/4. So until it has shut off its counters, it won't untap. No, it shouldn't untap here. That's a Meekstone. Guess he forgot about it. Not that it matters that much, because there is that mode. Okay, Strip Mine coming down here. Not any real viable targets. He could keep it back just in case the other guy has a Maze of Ith. I mean, exotic lands must be playing for the kill here. I think he has far less cards left in the deck. Okay, Icy Manipulator coming out here. Drawing even more cards. Okay, so now at the end step of the enchantment deck, he can tap his Icy, and then he can tap his Nova Pentacle in exotic lands main phase and shoot him with a Triskelion and Alo pile for 5 points. Okay, yeah, then remember here that the Triskelion will not untap because it's under that Meekstone. Okay, and at the end step of exotic lands, enchantment Extravaganza taps his Icy. The land deck, but doesn't matter, he untaps here. Okay, he should tap his Nova Pentacle and then just shoot him for 5 points of damage here. Just waiting for the recall. I said, that's a serpent generator. Okay, you can now start producing 1/1 snakes each turn. That can't get over the moat though. Still needs that disenchant. But I think the snakes are artifact snakes, so the abyss won't touch them. They also do provide some poison counters to the opponent. Not that it will matter that much. He's only at 6 life, so okay. I suppose producing a lot of snakes here and just waiting for the disenchant and then finally disenchanting the moat at some point could be worthwhile. And then just overrunning with snakes. Okay, discarding the Sage of Latnam here. That abyss has been so influential in this game, crushing all the creatures. Okay, drawing again. Okay, needs to be careful here. He might run out of deck pretty soon. I'm not sure he should draw that much. He could start to produce with that serpent generator. Produce snakes. He needs a lot of them to get in. Then he can tap the IC at the other guy's instep, then tap his Nova Pentacle, shoot him, and get over with a lot of snakes. But at the end of the day, what he needs is a recall. Then he can recall the Sonic Blast, tap the other guy's Nova Pentacle, and shoot him. That should do the trick. But yeah, Enchantress shouldn't be out of it yet. He might have countermeasures in hand. Something crucial happening here. He's really thinking about it. Oh, Steel Artifact. Oh, yeah. So all that card draw from exotic lands really coming into play here. Each turn he has a very, very important play. Probably taking the Icy Manipulator, right? Oh, I could take the Nova Pentacle. Should probably take the Icy. Okay, tapping his Alopile, I think it's called, that thing that you can sacrifice for 2 points of damage. Okay, he takes a Nova Pentacle though. Okay. Well, that's pretty huge. Don't know why he just didn't tap it instead and then took the Icy. But yeah, there might be a reason. Perhaps a Nova Pentacle still works. Oh, there's a disenchant. Will he take the moat? What will he take here? Probably the moat, right? Yeah. Okay, really picking him apart. There's some crucial draws here. Oh, drawing another card. Oh, it's too dangerous. I'd really like to know how many cards he has left in that deck. I mean, if the Enchantress could get a Brain Geyser in on him, that's game. What is that? Playing a Spirit Link on the Triskelion. Doesn't matter. Drawing, untapping the Library of Alexandria with the Taunos, Candelabra of Taunos, drawing even more cards. I'm not sure what he's sticking for, perhaps the recall. But I mean, if the enchantment Extravaganza draws into a Brain Geyser here, he can just Brain Geyser the other guy out. What is that? That's a Divine Offering. What's he cracking with that? No, you probably shouldn't counter it. Okay, the enchantment deck is targeting his Jade statue with a Divine Offering, probably to gain 6 life as well. But the other guy just activates the Jade statue and then munches it with his own Diamond Valley. So the enchantment deck doesn't gain any life from it because the Divine Offering will fizzle. But look at that, there's an enchantment alteration. So he gets his Nova Pentacle back here. Just with the enchantment alteration, he can change where enchantment goes. So he'll just, I don't know, put this Steel Artifact on some other random artifact that's worthless. And then get his Nova Pentacle back. It looks like the enchantment deck is getting back into the game just before Curtain Call here. What is this? Another enchantment he's playing here. That's the Telemaggot or something it's called. It's very rarely seen. I'll just find a picture of it here. To be honest, this is the first time I've seen this card played in a game, and it's just hilariously convoluted. Each turn, it's an enchant creature that each turn puts a -1/-0 counter on target creature. If that creature goes to the graveyard, the controller of the dying creature can put the tackle maggot on another creature, so it'll just bounce between players. But if there are no creatures, the tackle maggot will become an enchantment and just ping the owner of the last creature each turn. So it's pretty good in a deck with very few creatures like enchantment Extravaganza. Okay, so here the Triskelion just shoots him, pings him for 1 each time, making sure to do it 1 at a time, so that he can't use his Nova Pentacle to bounce it all in one go. And he bounces one of them down on a creature. So yeah, doing some damage here. I feel like he could have done it earlier though. Okay, then the tackle back. Okay, and then the Triskelion shoots itself with the final counter, I think. Thus making the tackle maggot fizzle, because the Triskelion shoots itself before the tackle maggot can be put on him. Otherwise, it would just keep on bouncing all over the creatures of the other guy. Now look at this, the enchantment Extravaganza deck follows the tackle maggot up with an animate dead, animating the Triskelion, and then puts a Spirit Link on it. He is down to 4 life though, but perhaps he can gain some life now. So that's one undead robot there. Changing sides. It will have to put in some work though, as the exotic lands deck is almost at 40 life. Okay, that's a Divine Offering being played. Actually chooses to play it on the Triskelion. Okay, could have perhaps played it on the Icy, couldn't he? I suppose. Okay. So he shoots the other guy twice, and then I think the Triskelion shoots itself for 1. So that the Divine Offering won't give the other guy 6 life. Makes sense, right? Okay, then taps his City of Brass for a single point of damage. Yeah, but he just regenerates up to 38 points. I don't think that the Exotic Lands deck will lose to anything else but getting decked here. But he is dangerously low in cards in that deck. So yeah, Enchantment Extravaganza might actually pull through here, depending on, of course, how much he has used that land tax earlier on in this marathon of a game. Okay, so he sacrifices the arrow pile here, doing 2 points of damage to the other guy while his Nova Pentacle is tapped. So that makes sense. Now he attacks with the factory. He really has to put some work in here before he simply runs out of cards. But yeah, the enchantment deck, he uses his force field to reduce the damage done by the factory to a single point of damage, going down to 4 life at this point. So it's really coming down to the wire here before the Exotic Lands deck runs out of cards. Needs to make the final poke happen here. There's a lot going on. What's he casting here? What is that? It's a recall. Okay. But did he tap himself out? Okay, he sacrifices a bunch of cards in hand, gets 5 cards back. Why not just take the Sonic Blast, man? Can't he just Sonic Blast the other guy? He used the Sonic Blast in the beginning where he Sonic Blast the factory. Could he just recall the Sonic Blast and just shoot the other guy? And not recall as much? What am I missing here? Perhaps he forgot that he has it? Okay, but in any event, he took back the Triskelion and the Elo pile. So that's 5 damage right there. But there is that Nova Pentacle that'll block some of that damage. But it should be enough. There's a Skull of Orm coming down on the side of the enchantment Extravaganza. He can get back enchantments from his graveyard each turn. Does he have anything that could help him here? I mean, the Triskelion has just gone from the other guy's library. Okay, so immediately a Divine Offering on that Skull of Orm. He won't have none of it. Okay, it's dead. And putting the land stick up to 40 life here. 41 in his draw step because he's down to 5 cards here. So the Ivory Tower won't net him as much life. But yeah, it won't be life that'll do him in. It'll be that very, very thin deck he has left. Okay, so he attacks with the factory, gets tapped with the Ice Manipulator. So it doesn't get in. Was about 4 cards left or something? This quarterfinals is really pretty damn close. Let's see. Putting down the Triskelion here. Okay. And then putting down the Elo pile. So that's 5 damage right there. No, it's only it's 4 damage because he'll likely bounce the Elo pile. So it's actually only 3 damage. He'll likely bounce the damage from the Elo pile with the Nova Pentacle. Bounce it down on the Triskelion. The correct play here would be to play the Elo pile and then use that first on him. He won't have a viable target as far as I can see for that Nova Pentacle then. He can't bounce the damage then and then play the Triskelion. And then shoot him for 1 each turn, I think. But I mean, it's always easier just to sit here and comment, and I might be wrong anyway. Okay, shooting him for 1 each, and okay, he actually chooses to bounce the final damage down, and Exotic Lands chooses to make the damage go to his factory by activating it, so it survives. I can sacrifice the Elo pile and shoot him. Ooh, reverse damage here. So cheeky. So instead of taking 2 points of damage, actually, he heals up 2 points of life. This is insane. Okay, actually making him survive by a reverse damage. Putting down a Mace of Ith here. Just to keep the Triskelion back. And what's that? He plays Swords of Plowshares on the Triskelion. I think. It's hard to say. Hard to see. That might be it. That reverse damage might be it. He can't get in with the factory now. Now, had the land stick, if he had taken his Sonic Blast, I think that would have been good, because the other guy was tapped out at that point, couldn't have used his Pendelhaven. Or he could have used the Elo pile before he played a creature. But now, that reverse damage, man, yeah, it would have just been cast on the Sonic Blast. Really a pickle for Exotic Lands here. What's this? Playing it to Travis. Now that's a 4/4 flying creature. And next upkeep it'll split out until it becomes 1/1 creatures flying. 4 1/1 creatures flying. So it can actually get through the Meekstone, get through the force field, get over a moat. It's artifacts, so the Abyss won't touch them, and the Icy can only tap 1, and the Nova Pentacle can only handle 1 as well. So he needs to make a lot of snakes, I suppose, as well. And just get over there with the critters. The problem for him is that the Travis still have summoning sickness once they split up. And that might be crucial because it's so close at this point. With so few cards left in his deck, every turn counts. Okay, so Enchantment Extravaganza just cast Demonic Torment. I'm pulling it up here. Making the Travis unable to attack. But I think it'll only work on the main Travis at this point. He can still split it up, and the 3 other 1/1 flyers will still function. So he needs to, I guess, make another snake with that animate. Ooh, disenchant coming in here. This might be it. Yeah, what I was about to say, another snake with that snake generator, and then getting in with the factory and 3 to Travis. That should be it, right? Okay, third last card, I think, from his deck being drawn here. Not using the library. I think that's very wise at this point. Okay, another card. That's an archaeologist. Ah, yeah, so he can get the Travis, the Triskelion back online, and he can shoot immediately. So next turn he can activate the archaeologist. That's why he disenchanted the Abyss, so that he can get that archaeologist down. So next turn, getting the Triskelion in hand, then casting it and shooting him for 3. And then getting in just with a single creature. Okay, tapping something here. Yeah, I see. Okay. Tries to play a Tornos Coffin of his own. Enchantment Extravaganza. Tapping. Oh, yeah, taking the archaeologist out of the game here. So that he can't start to dig after that Triskelion. Otherwise, the Triskelion would just get down now and shoot immediately. As said, it doesn't have summoning sickness. At his end step, Exotic Lands makes a frisky snake with that serpent generator. Okay, so splitting up the Travis into 3 flyers here. And they can't attack this turn. Does he have a single card left? This is an amazing game, actually. Okay, he should strip mine the mace. Yeah, he does so here. That's 1. That's a given. Okay. He's got 1 draw left. I think. 1 or 2. Tapping something with the Icy. Tapping the Nova Pentacle with the Icy Manipulator. I wonder why he didn't do that before he used it to Triskelion just before. Something is amiss here. It might be... Perhaps it can be used as a fast effect before the damage is taken. Okay, so he attacks with a snake, I think. And the Icy taps it. Goes into attack, his attack step. And then he attacks with the factory. Yep, coming over here. Now, he could attack with the Travis, but the main Travis, but he can't because it has that Demonic Torment on it. Seems like Enchantment Extravaganza has tapped 3 mana preemptively when the other guy tapped his Nova Pentacle. So perhaps he can likely use it preemptively before the damage is dealt here. So he'll now have to allocate the damage from his own from the factory. The owner of the factory will allocate to another creature, and the damage is done to chooses the Travis that has the Demonic Torment on it. So the only thing happening here is the factory shooting the Travis down. Okay. Final few rounds here. Can Enchantment Extravaganza hang on for dear life here? It's the final card getting drawn. Making a serpent at the end step of Enchantment Extravaganza. Final attack. This is make it or break it, do or die for Exotic Lands. 2 snakes, 3 flying to Travis, And then Icy. Against a Nova Pentacle and a defending Icy, as far as I can see. Having to do 4 points of damage here. And the Nova Pentacle will likely bounce one of them. I wonder, yeah. What can he do? Ramming up. Okay, so he's tapping his Icy? Okay. Should have done that in the end step. Anyway, he taps the Icy. As a fast effect, the Icy taps one of the snakes. I'm curious why he doesn't tap the factory, but I suppose he doesn't like the snakes for some reason. Doesn't really matter, he can just bounce the factory's damage. There's a copy artifact. On what though? Seems like he's copying the Icy and then tapping the other guy's Nova Pentacle, and he can use it preemptively here to bounce the damage from one of the creatures, but it's not enough. I think enough will get in here. He attacks with the factory, one snake, and all the Travis. Ooh, Swords to Plowshare on the factory, I guess. Getting spell blasted. Wow. That's what was left in the deck. I think this is game. Coming down to that final spell blast, he could have Swords to Plowshare at the factory, I think, and then bounce one of the creature's damage, and he would take 3 damage from the 3 to Travis that was left, being on 1 life, and then passing the turn back to the other guy, and he would be decked. But that's Swords to Plowshare were countered by the spell blast, making it exactly 4 damage. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage getting in, and 2 of them getting bounced with that Nova Pentacle from the factory, and then 4 damage getting in. This is the closest game I've ever seen. Really an interesting match, this one. So this was the first representation of this particular format. It looks really interesting. Entirely different flow to the game, I think, compared to the usual old school matches, because it's so it has a different tempo to it. It's a lot slower and more like gradual ways the game evolves, where one board presence just gradually gets stronger. But we saw a lot of turnarounds here. A lot of times where I thought one of the players just had the other guy in a chokehold, and then there was some exit strategy. So yeah, congratulations to Fat Beaters on Exotic Lands, going on to the finals here in this tournament of the 7-point singleton. Down below, I'll link to their Facebook group. If you're interested, why don't you pop in and say hi? And they'll have a lot of web-based games there. I might have made a few mistakes here or there because there's a lot of cards I don't know that well, and without the audio, it's difficult to see what's going on. It has to be extrapolated what card is interacting with what card in a huge board state like this. So thank you for watching this entire battle. Just an extremely close and exciting match, this one, and well played to our 2 players here. Very complex game, this one. All right, stay safe out there, you guys. I'll catch you in the next one.